Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do simple troubleshooting as well as maybe an upgrade on the Shimano Charter Special or TR1000 liver drag reel. I was looking for a small size reel that had a liver drag that I can stick in the rod holder and maybe hang a bait out of. Of the Charter Special reels, the TR1000 is the smallest. I'm used to using smaller, lighter reels like this one. This is an old Bantam, or maybe one of the newer reels, OJ 1500 custom. They're really small, really light, easy to use, so I'm trying to go away from the bigger reels. So this is the smallest size in the Charter Special series. It's a very old model. I think it's 15 years at least. I bought this one used. The previous owner had wanted $100 for it, but I said it's an old reel. So we looked at $90, and when I went to pick it up, some of the things he told me about it didn't add up. So I said $50, take it or leave it, and he gave me this reel for $50. One of the first things I did was stick a plug in it. This is heat moldable plastic, very good for plugging holes and stuff. I haven't used the reel yet because it doesn't work. Right, so this guy who sold it to me said the reel is in perfect condition, the interiors are spick and span, but the reel, it doesn't want to turn. Okay, and yeah, when I put the drag in strike position, even after going off the presets, it's very hard to turn. Yeah, it's as if I have a load on it. Okay, and it's not even, so straight off the bat, I think the bearings are seized up. I don't know which one. I suspect it would be the main thrust bearing, the one that sits closest to here. So we're going to open up the reel and see what we can do about it. One of the lock nuts is missing. I'm not sure if this is an original Shimano handle. I doubt it's an original Shimano handle because this hole kind of looks messed up. It looks bigger and it looks a little bit messed up. But if it works, I'll probably keep it. It looks like a convenient place to hang a hook off. So on a boat, I don't like to leave hooks dangling. This would be a nice place to hang a hook out of. Otherwise, I could take the reel off any other Shimano handle. The cool thing about Shimano is a lot of parts are interchangeable. So a handle that fit on any Shimano overhead reel would fit on pretty much any other Shimano reel. Okay, so let's get cracking with that. And we'll start by removing the handle assembly and taking off the right side plate so that we can assess the spool. And that's a 8mm socket wrench. And that appears to be stuck, so I'm going to use a little bit of elbow grease. After a whole bunch of prying, you can see that there's a lot of corrosion build up here. This part was actually stuck onto the handle. I had to chisel it away with a little letter opener, as you can see over here, and I had to hammer it down just to get these two parts separated. I've cleaned it up a little bit. You can see there's a little bit of damage where I had to use some force, and yeah, I kind of scratched up the handle a little bit. So that's the handle assembly off. We will probably, well, this nut, the only thing that was holding this nut in place was that it was corroded onto the handle. So we're probably going to have to find a retaining screw, or I will probably use some type of lock nut. Let's clean this up, and one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to loosen all the tensions. Liver drag reels, we generally work on them with the reel in free spool, and then we remove all the tension. Being careful not to drop the spring. There's a little spring in here, and we can take out the liver drag, but in this particular case, looks like I need to remove the liver drag slider. So let's do that with a Phillips head screwdriver. Be careful not to lose the plastic sleeves. These screws all have a little plastic sleeve that it's easy to lose if you're not careful. So I stick all the loose parts in a tray so I don't lose them. helps to have a nice white surface so you don't lose black screws. So that came off, and now I can remove the lever drag lever, and there's also a kind of plastic or plastic fiber kind of sliding washer. We'll set it aside. Then we will proceed to remove the right side plate. This reel is a graphite reel. Make sure that when we're putting the screws back in later that we don't overly tighten. Normally when I tighten these screws, finger tight and then maybe quarter turn, just till I can feel the bite. And that's more than enough fastening that you're going to require. I also happen to have one of these silicone mats, which I put a piece of paper over it, so if I want to separate the screws that I have and don't mix them up, I can just throw them in a pocket and it doesn't go anywhere. That's convenient for if you're using, if you're working on something that has got a lot of similar sized screws. You can kind of put them away in sequence. This is a very easy reel to service, like a lot of Shimano overhead reels or star drag reels that are of the older generation. Basically just remove the screws on one side and the whole side plate comes off, and you can actually access most maintenance jobs that you need to do on the other side plate. So if I remove the right side plate, I can take out the spool and I can access the left side plate in order to do any maintenance. So I don't actually need to remove anything out of the left side plate. Got one more screw in, so before we use too much force. Well, it's still seized. Okay, there you go. So it's easy to remove. So there's some old grease in there. We'll clean that up. So actually there is some grease there. It's just really old. And I suspect this is the bearing that possibly, because it's I can see here that there's a lot of corrosion and it's dry, that possibly a lot of salt water has entered the reel here over the years. And one of the common problems with the older Shimano reels is that this bearing gets rusted out, and when that seizes, if you're not familiar with the reels, you might think that the reel is completely useless. But in most cases, it's easy to repair. In most cases, this bearing would be corroded, or along the shaft, the support bearings or the linear bearings inside. Normally, there's either a bearing or a bushing that would be supporting either side of the reel. Sometimes one side of the reel, sometimes both sides of the reel. This Charter Special reel is unique in that it's a sealed drag reel. The drag actually sits somewhere inside the spool on the right hand side, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So I put on a nitrile glove because I need to cook dinner. We're going to remove some of this stuff and we are going to clean it up. Okay, so that comes out, and in order to get the main gear out, okay, so apparently just push through here and that should come out. There's a lot of old grease there. You can see some corrosion. It's actually not too bad. And now I can try and get that thing out. And I don't have a bearing puller, so I'm kind of in a jam. Let's see if we can figure that out.